I will majorly uh, want you to get right is just to know how to differentiate between a local variable and a global variable. Now we'll start with a definition of a local variable. So a local variable, they are just variables that are defined within the functions. A local variable, they are just variables that are defined within the functions, while a global variable are variables that are defined outside the functions. So the difference between a local and a global variable, in a local variable, it is just a variable defined within a function, and a global variable is a function defined outside the functions. Properties of a local variable. The memory required to store a local variable is only used when the variable is in scope. The memory required to store a local variable is only used when the variable is in scope. What does it mean that it is only used when the variable is in scope? This means that the memory required to store a local variable is used when the variable is in scope. This means that it is only used when that variable is running under a program. It is only used at that particular time when you are running those codes. It is only used at that particular time when you are running those codes. What does it mean? For example, you take a variable x, you assign it to 20, and then in another cell, you take the same variable x, you assign it to 40. So this means the variable x which you have assigned it to 20, it will be only invoked at that particular point. So this x will not confuse the program at the first case and the second case. The program will recall x which has been assigned to 20 differently to x which has been assigned to 40. So this means the memory required to store a local variable is only used when the variable is in scope. The second thing is the same variable name can be used in different function without any conflict. And that one I have already elaborated it when I was elaborating that point of the memory required to store a local variable is used when the variable is in scope. So for this second point, I'm saying the same variable can be used in different function without any conflict. And that is where I've told you that you can assign a variable x to 20,
Yep. Bye
and
bye, Ryan.
again you can
Bye
assign
bye.
this variable x to 40, and it will not have any conflict. For example, when let me give you an example. Let me create here a cell. For example, when I create here two cells and I put x, in this case I put x is equals to um, 40. Then I call this x here. When I run, it will give me x is equals to 40. In the second case, I use the same variable, x is equals to 20. So there will be no any conflict when you are using a local variable. When I will call it, it will not confuse that this value of x, because in this cell, I'd assigned x to 40. So when I will run this other cell, it will not have any conflict to give me x is equals to 40, but it will give me x is equals to 20. So that is the second characteristic of a global variable, not a global variable, a local variable. The same variable name can be used in different functions without any conflict. So it means x is a local variable because we have used x for the first time where we assigned it to 40. Then for the second time, we have assigned x to 20. And you see, we have not encountered any conflict. The third characteristic is a local variable is transitory. So its value is lost in between function invocations. So what does it mean that a local variable is transitory? So it means that its value is lost in between the function invocation. And this characteristic of losing its value in between the function invocation, that is what causes this local variable not to have conflict, not to have any conflict. For example, when I assigned x is equals to 40, in between the invocation, this 40 got lost. So that is why now when I assign the same x is equals to 20, I was able, and when I tried to invoke it, I was able here to get 20, and at the first case, I was able to get 40. What does it mean? It is transitory, and being transitory, it means that its value is lost in between function invocation. What will run at first, the memory of this Jupyter notebook, it will not go with it up to the next cell. So it means the first 40 was only reserved for that cell, and when you go to the other cells, it got lost. That is why in the second cell, when you assign the same x to 20, it will give you 20. It will not recall the first one, which we had assigned it 40. The second thing is a global variable. I've told you now, in a global variable, the variables are defined outside the function. The variables are defined outside the function. The difference between a global variable and a local variable, in global variable, it is defined outside the function, but in local variable, it is defined within the functions. And what do we use to represent a global variable? A global variable normally uses a reserved word known as global. It uses a reserved word known as global. So in that case, in the local variable, you have seen you can assign x, you can assign any name such as Levi, anything. But now in a global variable, it has a specific function, and this specific function is known as global. And this function is known as global, and it is normally a reserved word. What does it mean by a reserved word? In our earlier chapters, I told you that a reserved word is a word which you cannot, it cannot be used as an identifier. And we saw in our earlier chapter examples of these reserved words. For example, if, else, print, you cannot use them as an identifier. So in this case now, you can't use any other alphabetical letter or any other name. But when you want now to assign a global variable, it is normally assigned by a global function known as global, and it is written just global. It is written global in small letters. So what I will expect you to know for the cases of your certification, the first thing is for you to know the difference between a local variable and a global variable. The second thing, I will expect you now to know the properties of a local variable, the properties of a local variable. The first property is that the same variable name can be used in different functions without any conflict. And we have seen how it can be used in different functions without any conflict. That is where I've assigned x twice. The first x I assigned to 40, and the second x I assigned it to 20. The second characteristic is that the memory required to store a local variable is used only when the variable is in scope. And I gave you the explanation. Why is it used only when the variable is in scope? It is only used when that variable is running at that particular time. That means when I assigned x is equals to 40, that means x is equals to 40 is in scope. That means now that program is running at that particular time. And x is equals to 20 also is in scope. It is running at that particular time. So it will cause no conflict. Then I've told you that a local variable is transitory. This means its value is lost in between the functions invocations. Then the second thing for your certification purpose, the second thing which I want you to know is factorial. The second thing which I want you to know is factorial. I will expect you to know what is factorial in Python programming. So I'll start by just giving you a layman's definition so that you can get it well. For example, Ruth, you are a mathematics teacher. In a case where you have asked your student to find 5 factorial, this just means you will take 5, multiply by 4, multiply by 3, multiply by 2, and then multiply by 1. That is a layman definition of a factorial. And in Python programming, you just follow the same procedure. For example, when you want to get a factorial of a certain number, that means you will take that number and you will multiply by any number that comes below it. For example, when you have been asked to find the factorial of a number such as 3, that means you'll take 3, multiply by 2, multiply, then by 1. So that means the factorial of 3 is 6. And when you have been asked to find the factorial of a number such as 4, that will be automatically 24, because that means you'll take 4, multiply by 3, multiply by 2, multiply by 1. So in this case, we want to find the factorial of 6. And that factorial of 6, I've assigned it to a variable x. So I will say x is equals to 6, multiply by 5, multiply by 4, multiply by 3, to 1. Then when I will call this x by writing now another x beneath it, and I run it, it will give me the factorial of 6 is equals to 720. The other way, you can now decide to include the brackets. So how will, by including the bracket, you say now the factorial of 6 is equals to 6, multiply now bracket, 5 multiplied by 4, 3, 2, 1. You will get the same thing. What if now you want to make a program that will be able now to compute a factorial and give out the results? How are you going to make it? This is where now you will apply function definition. This is where you apply function definition. And in our previous chapter, I told you how to define this function. The first one, you will start by def. Def, it means now you are defining. When you want to define in Python programming, you use def. Then your function here is factorial. So your function name here is factorial. It means now you want to get the factorial. Now, after getting the factorial, you want to get a factorial of different numbers starting from 0 up to infinite number. You want to get the factorial of different numbers starting from 0 up to infinite number. So you remember in our last lesson, I taught you about parameter passing. I taught you about parameter passing. There is what we call the default parameter. And I told you when you have a default parameter, it means inside the parentheses or inside those brackets, you have not entered any argument. That is, it is just in default form. But when now you have entered an argument, it means now you have passed a parameter. It means you have passed a parameter. So in this case, because I want to get the factorial of different numbers starting from 0, because the minimum number of which you can start computing the factorial is 0, because the factorial of 0 is normally 1. So you'll say diff factorial, then you want to this program to accept different numbers. You want this program to accept different numbers starting from 0. So you will put n in between the bracket. And now it will take care for any number starting from 0. Then I told you in function definition, after you have defined, you have to enter that definition with a full colon. So you put your full colon, then you press enter. After you press enter, when your cursor is at that point and you press enter, it will automatically do indentation. It will automatically do indentation. So after it has automatically done indentation, that is where now you will start now your statement. And this statement is the one which will enable you now to get the factorial. So in this case, we'll use an if statement. We'll say if n is equals to 0, Why are we saying if n is equals to 0? As I have told you earlier, the smallest number of which you can compute the factorial is normally 0. So our first condition here is if n is equals to 0. And I told you in our previous chapter, when you want to mean is equal to in Python programming, you normally write the double equal sign. So you say if n is equals to 0, because it is a condition, you will have to end it with a full colon. Then when you have ended with a full colon, you press enter. Where now you see the second indentation, where now you see the cursor popping up, that means that is where you should start writing your next statement. And now, as I've told you, that the factorial of 0 is normally 1. So you will expect in this program, if you feed if n is equals to 0, you will expect it to return 1. What is the meaning of this function return? That means now what a programmer is expecting now the program to give out. So you'll say return 1. Now, what if now you have not entered 0? You have entered a number such as 1. You have entered a number such as 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. What are you expecting now? How are you expecting now the program to compute and give you the factorial? This now comes under the else statement. It comes under the else statement, else condition. You will now write else, then full colon. Then if you want to know the place where indentation starts, you put your cursor at the end of that colon and press enter. Where it will pop up, it will be peeping up at the next line. That is where now you should now write your next statement. Now, when you had written if n is equals to 0, return 1, else, what are you expecting if now you will enter the number such as 2? You see I've said return n multiplied by factorial 6 minus 1. 6 minus 1. I want you to get me, I want you to get it very clearly here. So why am I writing now return n factorial n minus 1? Look here. Look here. When I wanted to get a factorial of 6, let me create another cell here for you to get it right. Factorial of 6 mathematically, it is written this way. This is factorial. You write 6, then this thing like an exclamation mark. That is factorial. When I wanted to get this factorial of 6, I told you it is 6 multiplied by 5 multiplied by 4 multiplied by 3 multiplied by 2, then multiplied by 1. You get 720. So this 6 multiplied by 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 is same as 6 multiplied by 5 factorial. It is same as 6 multiplied by 5 factorial. Because 5 factorial, it means it is 5 multiplied by 4, 2, 3, 1. I don't know if you are getting me. So this means for you to get factorial of 6, you will take that 6 first, then you multiply by 5 for factorial. What does it mean? It means now you will take now 6 minus 1. 6 minus 1 is 5. 6 minus 1 is 5. So you will write this 6, then multiply by 5 factorial. So I want you to get it clear here. In this case, you will take this n as, for example, you take this n as your 6. And since you want to get 6 factorial, you will take this, assume this n is your 6. And then I told you, when we wanted to compute the 6 factorial, it is 6 multiplied by 5 factorial. So in this case, for us to to move one step back, it means you will take n minus 5. So in this case, it is same as n multiplied by n minus 5 factorial. It is the same as n multiplied by n minus 1 factorial. The same we were getting the factorial of 6. We took 6 multiplied by 5 factorial. And for us to get that 5, it means that we took 6 minus 1. So for a general case, when you want to make a program that it will compute any number which you will feed it with, you will take now n, then n minus 5 in bracket factorial. Now, after that, you define main. Why? What did I teach you about definition of this main function? It just organizes how your code looks like. It will organize how your code look like, because now I want this program to print the factorial maybe of 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 up to 5. So that is why I say now print 0. And then I want to find now the factorial of 0. You say print 0, then factorial 0 in bracket, then factorial 1, 2, 3, 4. So when I run this, it will give me the factorial of 0 is 1, the factorial of 1 is 1, the factorial of 2 is 2, 3 is 6, 4 is 24, 5 is 120. What if now I feed it with other factorials? I want it to find the factorial of 6. Then I want the program also to find the factorial of 7. After it has found the factorial of 7, I want to find 8. Then 9. Then 10. After 10, it finds for me 11. Then I'll just do the same here. Find there 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, then 11. So when I run, it will just give me the same, the factorial starting now from 6 up to 11. So that is the second important thing that you need to know for the purpose of your certification. You have to know what is a global variable, which function represents global variable in Python programming, and that function is a reserved word known as global. Characteristics of a global function, the characteristics of a local variable, and I've told you the first characteristics that it is transitory. What does it mean by transitory? Its value is lost in between function invocations. I've told you that there is no conflict of the variables. And the first one, the memory used. The memory is normally used within the scope. And then the other thing you need to know is the factorial and how you can compute factorial in Python programming, and maybe how you can interpret a simple program that can compute factorial. These are other ways of how you can compute factorial, but what I want you to be using, I want you to be using this first program. I want you to master that, the logic behind that, and how you can make such a program that can enable you to do the factorials. Yes, the other thing is here. I want you to get it right. The other example is here. Now you can also use function definition to do some other operations such as addition, multiplication, to evaluate. In this case also you can use function definition. And how are you going to use function definition? For example, you want to make a program that it will be able to do addition, multiplication, and evaluation. How are you going to do it? You want this program to add maybe two numbers, and these two numbers are x and y. X and y. You will start by function definition. You will start by function definition. What are you defining? You are defining two variables. You want this program to do addition of two variables, and these two variables are x and y. So you'll say diff add x comma y. So this means this program, it will add two parameters. It will add two parameters, and these parameters are x and y. And after it has added, you will expect it to return the results. How now will you invoke or call the results? You will use the return function. You will use the return function. And in using this return function, you'll say now return x plus y, because addition in Python programming is represented by that addition sign. So you say return x plus y. Then when you do multiplication, you have to start by defining. You'll say define multiply x, y. Then you'll expect it to return now the results. You'll say now return x multiplied by y. And the multiplication sign in Python programming is represented by that star sign. It's represented by the star sign. Then the other thing is evaluation. Evaluation. For example, you want now your program to do evaluation of a function. So you start by defining. You say define evaluate in bracket f x y. And I've told you time and again, when you are doing function definition, you have to end it with a full colon. And also, when you are writing a condition, for example, if, else, it has to end with a full colon. So you expect your program to return now an evaluation of f in bracket x, y. Now, after you have done function definition, you have to use the main, you have to define the main function. And what did I tell you? The main function in Python programming is just used to organize your work or organize your codes. It is just used to organize your work or the codes that the programmer is intending to write. So after now, you have defined addition, multiplication, and evaluation. You have now to define the main function. So the first thing, you will expect the program to print addition of 2 plus 3. Then the second thing, you will expect it to print multiplication of 2 and 3. The third thing, you will expect it to evaluate add 2 plus 3. So this is just evaluation, and in this evaluation I want it to do evaluation of only addition, of evaluation of only addition, 2 plus 3. So in evaluation, it means now the program can accept either addition or multiplication. Then I want it also to compute, print, evaluate, multiply 2 and 3. Then after you have defined a function and you want to invoke that function, you will have to end that function at the end. You will have to write that function which you had defined at the end. And in this case, the function which I defined is main. So you have to write here at the end so that uh, all the operation which you had defined can be invoked or can be executed. So when I run this line of a code, you see in this case where I've said 2 multiplied by 3, it gave me 5. Not 2 multiplied by 3. Addition, add 2 and 3. You see, it gave me 5. Where I'd said multiply 2 and 3, it gave me 6. Where I'd said now print evaluate, and in this evaluation, I wanted to carry out an addition process, and I wanted to add 2 and 3. You see, it gave me 5. Then I wanted it to multiply 2 and 3. You see, it gave me 6. If I wanted to do other operations such as 7 and 6, I change it to 7 and 6 this way. Here also I come and change it 7 and 6. Excuse me. 7 and 6. Again, I change here. I put, for example, 7 and 9. 7 and 9. Then here I put 7 and 3. You will see where I'd put to add 7 and 6. It will add 7 and 6 and give me 13. Where I'd put multiply 7 and 6, it will multiply and give me 42. Where I'd put evaluate, and in my evaluation I wanted to do addition, it will evaluate and give me 16. And where I'd put now multiply 7 and 3, it will multiply and give me 21. Just see, when I run this, it will give me 13, 42, 16, and 21. So that is the end of this chapter. It was as brief as you can see. The first thing which you are expected is for you to differentiate local and global variable. The second thing is for you to know characteristics of a local variable. The third thing is for you now to know how global variable is represented, and global variable is represented by a reserved word called global. The other thing which you are expected to know in this chapter is about factorial, how you compute factorial in Python programming, and you internalize a simple program which can compute factorial in Python programming. Then the other thing is for you to know just a simple arithmetic program that can be used to do addition, multiplication, and evaluation using function definition. And that is the end of today's lesson, unless you have any question. Unless you have any question, the lesson was just brief like that. So that is the end of today's lesson. In our next lesson, I think we have only remained with at most 3 to 4 chapters, because from chapter 8, 9, they are just brief chapters. And I think by the end of this month, we'll have been through with all the chapters, and I think you'll be prepared enough to do the certification. In our next chapter, this will be now chapter 9. In chapter 9, we are going to learn about list. In chapter 9, we are going to learn about list. This is where now, as a programmer, you will learn how list maybe are invoked in Python program. How, for example, you are doing an analysis, and in that analysis, you have been told only to select a certain number of rows or columns. This is where now we learn in detail. But if I can touch on it a bit, allow me to touch on it a bit, because we still have a lot of time. The first thing which will be expected to know is the definition of a list. Is the definition of a list. Let me see the definition. The first thing which will be expected to know here is a definition of a list. And a list refers to a collection of objects. A list refers to a collection of objects. It represents an ordered sequence of a data. A list refers to a collection of objects which represents an ordered sequence of a data. So, in this case, you learn that a list is similar to a string, except a string can only handle characters. So, in our previous chapters, we learned about strings, integers, float. So, you learn that in this case now, a list is similar to a string, except a string can hold only characters. But now, when you come to the list, it can hold both characters, it can numbers, and what have you. So, the first thing you need to know the definition of a list. A list refers to a collection of objects, and it represents an ordered sequence. Now, that is the first thing I will expect you to know. And the second thing, you have to know that elements in a list are not the same, are not, what can I say? Elements in a list is not a must for them to be the same. That is now the difference between a list and a string. As a string only add characters, but a list can have a combination of characters, which are strings, integers, floats, and what have you. So the first thing I will expect you to know is a definition of a list. And I've told you it refers to a collection of objects which represents an ordered sequence of a data. Then the second thing I'll expect you to know is that whenever you have been given a list in Python programming, it normally starts counting from 0. That is the other thing which I will expect you to know. It normally starts counting from 0. That is why when we were importing those data sets, you saw the first row was 0. Then the second one, 1, the third, 2, and going in that order. So in lists, also you start counting from 0. For example, here, you have been given a list having 3 characters. And the first character is 5, then -3, then 12. So this 0, this 5 is in 0 row. Then 3 is 1, it represents 1. Then 12 represents 2. So that is what you should note when we will be dealing with the list. Then the second thing, list, when you are writing list, always note this. When you are writing list, we always use squared brackets. We always use squared brackets. You don't use that normal bracket. When I say squared bracket, for example, in this is a list. So I'm saying my list is equals to, you see, I will start by this square bracket. I say 2, -3, 0, 4, and -1. That is a list. So, for example, I want to get the first value in my list. And the first value in my list is being represented here by 2. How will I call it? How will I call it? For example, I've run this and I want to get the first value in this list. A little bit. I want to get the first value in this list. How will I get it? The first value, I've told you that in a list, it starts counting from 0. And this 2, it is in index 0. It is in index 0. 3 is in index 1. 0 is in index 2. Then 3, then 4. So for example, you are asked 2 is in which index. Always know indexing in Python programming starts from 0. 2 is index 0, then negative 3 is index 1, 0 is index 2, 4 is index 3, negative 1 is index 5. For example, you have been asked to extract 2 from the list. To extract 2 from the list, how will you extract it? You first have to know your list name. In this list name, I've written it LST. My list name is LST. That is my identifier. So I write LST. Then I put those square bracket. And in this case, I want to get 0. I want to get 0 from that list. So I will put that way, then I put 0. So when I run, my list will give me, there is something which I wanted first to run. Give me a minute. Okay, before I run that example, let me put it here so that it cannot confuse you. Let me put it there. Now, I want to take all that list and put it here this way. Now, when I run, it will run that way. And now I want to get an element which is in index 0. How will I get it from this list? For me to get an element which is in index 0, I'll just put the name of that list, and then I put here 0. So when I run, it will give me the element which is in that index. And you see the element which is in index 0 is 2. So you see here it has displayed for me 2. When I want to get the element which is in index 1, I just come here and I put 1. So when I will run, you see it will give me now the element which is in index 1. The element which is in index 1 is negative 3. Now, in the third case, I want to get the element which is in the index 2. Uh, I just put like this, and I put 2. When I will run, you see it will give me the element which is in index 2 is 0. And when I want to get the element which is in index 3, I just come here and I put here 3. It will give me now the element which is in index 3. When I run, it is 4. And when I want to get the element which is in index 4, I'll just do the same this way, and I put here 4. And when I run, it will give me the element which is in index 4 is negative 1. So you can bear me witness that 2 is index 0, negative 3 index 1, 0 index 2, 4 index 3, then negative 1 index 5. So that is what we call indexing. That is what we call indexing in list. Now, in that case, now I've shown you now the indexes of all these numbers, and these numbers are 5 I don't know. It did thrown me out. Are you able to see my screen?
No.
Because I realized the Zoom had thrown me out of the meeting. Okay, I hope now you are in a position to see my screen. I hope you have been getting what I was saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, anytime you realize that maybe you can't hear me or you can't see my screen, you just unmute and talk, because I've realized the Zoom had thrown me out of the meeting.
Okay.
Now, you bear me witness that when you get 5 elements in a list, that means the indexes runs from 0 up to 4. When you get 7, it means it runs from 0 up to 6. So you have seen how I've found all those indices. Now, the second thing I want to show you is how to replace an element within a list. For example, this list has got -2, 3, 0, 4, and -1. I want to replace in index 0, instead of the list having 2, I want it to have 5. In index 4, instead of the list having -1, I want it to have 12. So how will I do it? So this is the way, this is how you can replace now elements within a list. So you see here, my list is equals to, and I've told you whenever you are writing a list, anything that has a squared bracket in Python programming, Python just knows that it is a list. So I say list is equals to squared bracket 2, -3, 4, 0, 4, and -1. Now I want to replace 0 with 5. I want to replace an element in index 0 with 5. And this element in index 0 is 2. I want to replace it with 5. How will I do? So I will come here and write list, then that bracket 0. It means now I'm referencing index 0 is equals to 5. That means now it is the element which I'm replacing with 2. Then I come list 4 is equals to 12. That means now I'm going to replace index 4, that element which is in index 4, and index 4 here is -1. I'm going to replace it with 12. So after I've replaced it, and I decide now to call now the list, so it can give me the replaced list. So I just come here at the end and I write lst. So when I will run, you see it has given me the replaced list. It has given me the replaced list. The first list was 2, -3, 0, 4, and -1. So I came and I replaced in index 0, I replaced 2 with 5. In index 4, I replaced -1 with 12. But in index 1, 2, and 3, I retained the same numbers. So when I tried now to call this last LST is just to call, it will give me the replaced list. What if now I want to replace these all numbers? Let me replace all of them so that you can get it clearly. I want to replace, I've replaced index 0. I want now to replace index 1. And index 1, I want to replace it, it is -3. I want to replace it with 7. Then index 2, I want to replace it. I want to replace it with, it is 0. I want to replace it with 8. I want to replace it with 8. And then index 3, just come here, LST. Index 3, index 3, it was 4. I want to replace it with a 10. Index 3, I want to replace it with a number such as 10. So when I'll do it and I put this list at the end, it will give me now the list with the replaced elements. So when I run it, you see now the first values of this list, it was 2, -3, 0, 4, and 1. But I've replaced it with 5, 7, 8, 10, and 12. So you'll see it will give me that list. It is 5, 7, 8, 10, and 12. So that is how you replace a list in Python programming. And after you have replaced a list, you want to inspect the values. For example, in that list, after I've replaced, I want to find the value of that index 1 contains. I'll just write LST1, and then it will give me in index 1, it has an element which is 7. So these others, these are just further examples of how you can replace various lists. And this one I've just showed you. When now you want to go to inspect, for example, you want to know in index 1, it contains which value. You will just say LST, then 1, or any name that you would have called your list. So long as you have to know that you have to follow all the rules of writing list. It must have those squared brackets. Then I've told you that a list, it is just the same way as a string. But now, I told you earlier that in a string, it contains only characters. But in a list, it can contain float numbers, characters, integers, and what have you. Those are what makes a list. For example, I want to make a collection, and this collection I want to make it in a list form. So I'll say collection is equals to, then I've told you time and again, when you are making a list, it has to start with this squared bracket. This squared bracket, it has to start with it. So my list has got 24.2. It has 4. It has word. It has float. It has 19. It has -0.03. Then I've written here end. Now, I want now this list. I want to get index 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So index 0 here, it will display for me 24.2. Index 1, it will display 4. Index 2, it will display for me word. And even it can even give me even the class of that word. Index this one, it will display for me float. Then this means this is index 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You see there are 7 elements. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So when there are 7 elements, it means it has indices 0 up to 6. So when I run, you see it has displayed for me 24.2, 4, word, 19, 0.03, then end. And after it has displayed for me, in this last part, I wanted it to print all the collection. So it has printed for me all the collection, and all this collection is in list form. And when it prints a list, and as I've been telling you time and again, a list must have an opening square bracket and a closing square bracket. So as you can see, as a single list in this case has got an integer, floating point numbers, strings, and even functions. So that means a string can hold integers, floating point numbers, strings, and even it can hold a function, because you see this end here, it is just a function. This end is a function. Then you see this word, this word is a string. As I told you, when you are writing a string, it must have the quotation marks. It is a string. So, and also this float, it is an inbuilt function. It is an inbuilt function. Float is an inbuilt function. For example, if I change it and I put int also is an inbuilt function. So when you run, it means this a list can contain a function, it can contain a string, it can contain a float, it can contain an integer. So, it is not restricted. A list can contain anything. So up to that level, I think I've given you some introduction to list. So in our next lesson, I'll just teach you how you can write a list within another list, how you can slice a list, Yes. Yeah, this topic is just interesting. It's just interesting. I'll teach you some different characteristics of a list, where you will learn that a list is not iterable. And I think it will only require one extra lesson, and we'll be through. So up to that juncture, I don't know if you have got any question. Next week we'll start from how now you can slice a list. What I've covered is just how you can index a list, how you can replace elements within a list, and a definition of a list. We have covered those three concepts. Next week, or let me cover this so that I can finish with this one, so that when we will introduce something, it will just be new. We'll start from example. Now, the other thing which I want you to know is that index indicates now the distance from the beginning. Index indicates just the distance from the beginning. The very first element is at a distance of 0 from the beginning of the list. So index is just represents indicates the distance from the beginning. So the first element, it is normally at index 0. The first element is normally at index 0. So what I want you to note is that a list can be single, or it can be combined, or it can be empty. A list can be single, it can be combined, or it can be empty. Now look here. I want to make a list, but this list is somehow combined. So look here. In this list, I call this list call. So I will start by writing. Let me just make a cell here so that you can get it correctly. I just write this call, and then I say I'm writing a list. In this first list, I want it to have an element 23. And now I want to make a list within a list. After it has 23, I make another list within this list, which it will have 9.3, then it will have 11.2, then it will have 99, 99.0. So after I've made this list, you see, after I entered the first element, I put a comma. Then I've made another list inside this list. When you make another list inside it, this list, inside another list, you will have to put those square bracket in that list. And after you have finished making that list, you will put a comma. You will put a comma. And after you have put that comma, you see in my first element within the main list, it had only 23. Then I made another list which had 3 elements, 9.3, 11.2, and 99.0. After I made that list, I want to make another list which will only have one element, So in this one element, it is just 23. After I've made that list with only one element, I want now, in this 23, I want to make now the list which is in the same case with this 23. So I'll just write there 4. I just write there 4. After now I've written this 4, I want to make another list, which is an empty list or a null list. I'll just put those 2 brackets. When this, I just put these 2 brackets and it doesn't have anything inside it, it means it is a null list. It means it is a null list. And after maybe I've made it, I want to make another list which will only have 2 numbers. I'll put that way, and I have maybe 8 and 9. And after I've done so, I want now to print the value in my list, and my list name is called call. I'll just do like that, and you will see it will print all the values in my list, which shows that 23, it is in the main list. Then there is a list inside the main list, which has got 3 elements, 9.3, 11.2, 99.0. Then there is another list inside the main list, which is 23. Then we have an element on the main list, this one 4, which we write it without those square bracket. It means it is just in the main list. Then we have an empty list. When you see this squared bracket without an element, it is empty list. Then we have another list which has got 8 and 9 within the main list. So that means that a list can be written inside another list. Thank you very much. Next week we'll start from those examples as we go forward. So what I beg you is you keep on practicing so that you can absorb what I've tried to put across today. So that is the end of our lesson today, unless you have got any question.
I have a quick question.
Yes.
I remember I think it's in strings where we have what's called nested strings.
Yes.
Yeah. Now a list that has another list within, can it be referred to as a nested list also?
No, it can it can be referred as a nested list. In that other case, we are calling it nested because nested is only applicable in conditions, because we are using the if else, if. But in lists, you see, we don't have that network of if.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Amos.
You're welcome.
Any question? Any other question? So that is it. Amos, I think you joined late. In chapter 8, we don't have so many complicated things. What I've taught is just the difference between a local variable and a global variable. Then the second thing I've taught is a characteristic of a local variable. Then in a global variable, it is normally represented by a reserved word, which is global. Those are the things which you have just to get it. They are just simple things. Then the other thing which you have done in this chapter 8, which is examinable, is just factorial, how to compute factorial in Python programming. And then we used definition of function to either do addition, multiplication, evaluation, and multiplication. That is the only thing which you are supposed to get it right in chapter 8.
Okay. So is it in that book also?
Yeah.
Is it
Which book?
the one that you gave us, the Python? I don't know what it's. I don't remember the name. I don't know. There's
Yeah,
a book.
yeah, it is in that book, but I don't encourage you people to be reading using that book, because the book it is quite complex. It is not summarized. I will encourage you to read using my Jupyter notebooks, which I normally send it to you.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah, because in my Jupyter notebook I've summarized, so it will not take you a lot of time to read.
Thank you.
Yeah, and then in lists, what we have covered today in list, we have covered indexing. And what I've taught in list, you start from index 0. The first element within the list is normally index 0. Then when you are writing a list, you must start with a squared bracket, those squared bracket.
Okay.
Yeah, then I've taught about how to replace an element within a list. So those are the things which we have learned today. We have learned indexing of a list. We have learned how to replace an element within a list, and how to write a list within another list.
So what I notice, we have strings, we have tuples, we have lists.
Yes.
Yeah, and then I don't know what else. We have dictionary also. Oh, that one
Yeah.
there.
Those are data types. In data types, you have got, I think, tuples. We are going to cover it in chapter 10. So we have
Oh, we are
started
not
with
yet
the
there.
list. Yeah,
Oh,
we are not.
okay.
We are not yet. So we have started with the list. So
Okay.
what I want you to get it right, in list, it is normally represented by squared bracket.
All right.
Yeah, squared bracket. But now when you will go to dictionary, dictionary is represented by a curly bracket.
Oh, yeah. Okay. That's what I was wondering, because at times I see curly brackets.
Yeah,
But
dictionary.
okay.
Dictionary is represented by a curly bracket.
Okay. Okay.
Then in dictionary, it is immutable. What does it mean, immutable? Dictionary and list, they are immutable. That means you can change values inside a list or a dictionary.
Okay.
But a tuple is not immutable. That means in a tuple, you cannot change the elements within a tuple. So that tuple will come in chapter 10. But we have started now with the list.
And then use this terminology, iteration.
Yes.
I know you've been hearing it, but I don't quite get it. What
Iteration is just a programming terminology, but in a layman's language, it means repetitive.
Oh, repetitive. Okay.
Yeah, repetitive. As you saw in chapter 6, we dealt with this repetitive nature when you are when you are writing a loop. We used a function known as while. When you are using while, it means now it will be repetitive. That is why you saw in chapter 6 there were some program. I think chapter 5 there were some program which was highly repetitive to the point we had to interrupt them.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, and I told you the disadvantage of this repetitiveness. It can cause your notebook to hang or crash.
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
so that is a very new English terminology. Maybe tomorrow, if you meet somebody, you want to tell him that you are so much repetitive. You just tell him you are so much iterative.
You look at you with strange eyes.
Yeah, so you tell him or I in a programming language, you are so much iterative. That means it is repetitive. It keeps on repeating.
I see. I get
Yeah.
it. Yeah, I like IT, but it's so
Yeah.
complicated.
In fact, now what we have started learning, this is what you will now apply directly in data science.
Oh,
Yeah, because data science, it requires some good knowledge in list, because sometimes you can get a client who wants a data analysis to be done, and he only
yes.
tells you that I want you to do from index 0 up to 7, and maybe you don't know where index 0 is.
Oh, I see. That's the first element
Yeah,
in
it
the
is
list.
just the first element. And when it goes up to index 7, it means the elements are 8.
Oh, yes, yes.
Yes.
And then I was seeing like some negatives in indexing. When you use a negative, then you are beginning from the end.
When you use
The
yeah, yeah,
negative, then you are beginning
yeah.
from the end going backwards. Negative
Okay.
indexing.
I think you have seen all those things, but you are forcing me now to cover the next lesson. So it is here, it is now here. We'll cover it in our next, so that
Oh,
I don't want you people to confuse.
okay. Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
there is some instances now where you will use now those negatives. So I don't want you to confuse. I want you first to get it right for the positives.
All right. Thank
Then after you have absorbed the one for the positives very well, next week we cover the one for the negatives, when now you want to extract it from a different direction.
All right.
Yes,
Thank
it
you.
means you have really read.
Not quite. Uh,
Any other question, Amos, or any other person? These are just all about lists. I want to look for the negatives which you have been asking, so that I can direct you. When you retire, you go and make more practice. Look here, Amos.
Yes.
You have asked something about the negatives. The negatives, you only apply it when you are doing slicing.
Okay.
So what is this slicing? For example, you want now to, you have been given a list. And after you have been given a list.
No, I think, let me interrupt a little bit.
Yes.
I think Amos is referring to a number in the list that whose index is -1. I think that is what he's referring to.
Was that your question, Amos?
No, I was actually referring to negative indexing.
Yeah, he's
Like,
referring
yes.
to negative indexing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that is what I'm answering.
Okay.
Now, Amos, look in this example, we have got a list, isn't it?
yes.
This list has got numbers from 10 up to 80.
Yes.
In the first case, I want to print this index. I will just say print. I want to print this list. I'll just say print, and the name of my list, I've assigned it LST, isn't it?
Yes.
It will print for me this list 10, 20, up to 80. Then now, in the second case, I want to slice it. And
Yeah.
how do I want it to be sliced? I want to get the element in this list starting from index 0 up to index 3, isn't it?
Yeah.
So it means index 0 here is 10.
Up to 40.
20, 30, 40. So now when slicing the indices, this is what I want you to note.
Mm.
When you slice now from index 0 to 3, it means now it is 0, 1, 2. Now in this case, it will not go up to 40. Are you getting me right?
Yes. Yes.
It will not go up to 40, but now it will go up to 30. It normally reduces by 1. Now it is different from how now you are, I don't know. It will, this 0 will start counting. What am I trying to put across? I don't know if you are getting me.
So the 0 starts counting from the first element.
Yes.
But then 3 should have been the fourth element, but the fourth element is left out.
Yeah, the fourth element is normally left out. So when you are slicing, if you have been told from 0 to 3, it means that 3, it is the fourth element, but it is normally left out.
Yeah, I get it.
So in slicing, it will assume the fourth element. It will just go up to the third element.
Okay.
Now, I want you to get this also correctly. You see here, I want to slice it from 4 to 8.
From 4 to 8, so you start from 50.
Are you getting it?
Yeah.
What does it mean? It will now start from 50. It will
Yeah.
now start from 50 because now 4, it will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It will now start from 50. But in this case, it will count because I want it to start from 50 up to 8. So you see, it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, isn't it?
Yes.
That means it will. It is from index 4 up to index 8, and index 8 in this case is not there. Are you getting me?
Yeah, okay, okay. Because index 8 should have been the 9th one. Because when I
It
see
should
the
have
element,
been the 9th one.
yeah.
So it will just go up to this 80. So what I want you to get it right, the zero, the first element, it normally takes consideration the first element. Are you okay?
Yeah.
Then now, in this case, you see it is 0, 3. So it will take the element which is in index 0. And then in this 3, it will take now the element which is in index 2.
Okay.
Yeah. For the same case here, 4, 8, it will take the element which is in index 4, which is 50. And 8, it will take the element which is in index 7. Now, you see from 2 to 5, from 2 to 5, it will take the element which is in index 2, which is 30, isn't it?
Yeah.
Then 2 to 5, it will take now the element which is, and the element which is in index 4, which is 50.
Yes.
Yes. Then now, let us go for these negatives. You see, we have negative 5, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah, that's where, yeah, that's the question I was asking. Yeah.
And we have negative 3.
Yeah.
So what does it mean? Negative 5 and negative 3. So this is the meaning. Count from this point. This is index 0,
Yeah.
1.
No, I think that will be negative 1. 80 will be negative 1 if I never read wrongly.
Yes.
I'm saying I
Yeah.
think when you start from the right, the first
Yes.
number from the right is assigned index negative 1. So 80
How?
will be index negative 1, 70 negative 2, negative 360, negative 450, negative 540, which we have there.
Yes.
And then negative 3 will be these 50 here. Oh, wait, negative 3 will be negative 1, negative 2, negative 3. Why is negative 350?
Negative
And
3.
negative 3, they've written there. Oh, yeah. So we go up to negative 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. We go up to negative 4 from the right. Because we have negative 3, but now we don't go to negative 3. We stop at negative 4. Don't know whether that makes sense.
Start again, Ruth.
Okay, what I was saying is that when you have negative indices, you
Yes.
start counting from the right.
Yes.
Now, the very far right number, which is 80, will be assigned index negative 1.
Yes.
Then 70 will be negative 2.
Yes.
60 will be negative 3.
Yes.
50 will be negative 4, and so on and so forth to the other side. So in this case, we've been told to identify list index negative 5, negative 3. So in this case, of course, you come and count. So your 8 is negative 1 there, negative 2, negative 3, negative 4, negative 5 is 40.
Yes.
But now, because we have negative 3, we're not going to take negative 3.
Yes.
No, wait. Oh, wait. Negative 1, negative 2. No, I'm confused at that point. I only read of negative 1. I'm sorry, somebody can explain more on that. I'm
Ruth,
confused.
you're doing good. You're doing good. I know you. Yeah, you count from the right. From what I don't know, I might be wrong, but I think you count from the
That is
right,
it.
and then now negative 5 is going to be from from what I'm seeing here, it's going to be 40.
Yes, that is it. And then now -3, we're now not gonna take -3, we take -4. So the index of -4, which is 50.
Which I thought should be, yeah, okay. So now you go backwards again. So
Yes.
-3. So you have 50
Like
and
you
then
increase
40.
by 1. Remember when we count from the left, we decrease by 1. Like when we had indices on 4 and 8, we take the first number, which is 50, that has index 4. And instead of us using 8, now we use the number that has index 7.
Okay,
We
so you
reduce
go
by 1 from the left, and then from the right, we increase by 1.
it's like
We
you
reduce by 1 as
go
well.
you go forward and then backwards. It's like going back and forth. That's what I'm seeing here, because it's like the
No, it's the same thing, because -4 is less than -3. So in this case, we reduce by 1 as well. So instead of us taking an index, the number whose index is -3, we take a number whose index is -4.
Okay, okay. So
Yes.
if okay, this is the way I see it, just as you said, but this is the way I look at it. So you count 5 elements. So the -5th element is 40, and then -4 is going to be 50, and then -3, which should be 60, is left out. Yeah. So it's going to be 40 and 50.
Yeah, it's 40 and 50. But now the explanation is what we're not getting right.
Amos, give Ruth the correct explanation before I give mine.
Yeah, what I'm saying is, okay, Ruth, as you said, you start from right, going right, going left. Huh?
Yeah.
So you count there, 80 is 1, 70 is 2, all the way to
Negative.
40, which is going to be -5.
Yes.
So now you take 40 as the first element, and then now you count up to -4, because the last one you leave out.
Yes, we leave out -3 and take -4 instead.
So we take -4 instead, which is now 50. So it's like you go back again. So you start with the 40, then you go to 50.
Yeah, so simply you reduce by 1. The last index there is reduced by 1. Just the same way we do with positive ones. Yeah, you get it?
Yeah, yeah,
Yep.
I get it. It's kind of tricky because you start from the end, then you go back again.
Yeah, this one now you start from the end. How you have counted it, it is correct. So you'll start 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So -5 will be here at 40. Are you getting it?
Yeah.
So that is -5. So for you now to get this -3, you will not start counting from -1. You will start counting from 0. So it will be now 0, 1, 2, 3.
Okay, same thing.
Oh, it's the same thing. Okay.
Yeah, it is the same thing here, which we did here. When you wanted to get index 2, you will come up to this where we have 30. It is 0, 1, 2, isn't it?
Yeah.
But when you want to get now 6, when you want to get up to 5, you will count 0, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay.
Yes. So the first one, you retain it. This is for the first one. You retain it. It is 0, 1, 2. But for the second one, you just take the fifth value.
Okay.
You just take the fifth value. I don't know if you are getting me.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is it.
Yeah.
Now, for this negative, it is just opposite. You saw for this one, for the first one, we started by retaining it, isn't it?
Yeah,
Right.
simply the first one is retained and then the last one is reduced by 1.
Then the last one is reduced by 1. The same we'll do it here. The first one, we will retain it. Then the second one will increase by 1. So you see, retaining, it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then the second one, we can say it is 1, 2, 3, 4. If you don't want to use 0.
Okay.
Yes. The first one retaining it, the second one increasing by 1. No, it is still decreasing, not increasing.
Yeah,
It
it
is
is still decreasing by 1,
it
both
is still
sides.
decreasing by 1.
Okay.
Because when you will decrease by 1, it will be -4. It is just the same concept. The first one retain, the second one decrease by 1.
Yeah.
Yeah, the first one retain, the second one decrease by
By 1.
by 1. That is it. And I think the logic which you have used, yeah, you can just go by that logic. That is how you do it for the negatives. It is just slicing. This is now under slicing. Now you have seen for the negative. What if now it is just written full colon 3? It means you are writing the elements up to index 2. That means it is 0, 1, 2. You write only the elements up to index 2. And when it has been written 4, then colon, that means you are writing the elements starting from index 3 onwards. Starting from index 3 onwards. Yeah, that is as simple as that. Starting from index 3 or onwards. Is it index 3? No, this one means you are writing up to index 2. And this one, when it has been written 4, then full colon. What does it mean? Let me see, let me look.
That means you start from index 5 all the way to the end. That full colon is because
No, you start from index 4. You start from index 4.
From 4.
Yeah, you start
Okay.
from index 4 all through to the end. In
Yeah.
this first one, full colon, then 3, it means you end at index 2.
Okay, yeah, you end at index 2. Okay.
Yeah, but here you start from index 4. You end index 2, start at index 4. Then when it is only full colon, it means you write everything.
Okay.
Yeah, that thing, it requires a lot of concentration for you to get
Yeah,
it
there
right.
are a lot of things. I mean, oh my God, it's a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a lot, I don't know how you guys commit these things to memory. I don't think you have to commit everything to memory.
Yeah, you can't commit all these things to memory. You can't.
Because coding is
But
Is
when you
an
are
This is just the
given,
beginning.
the good thing with it, when you have been given a list and maybe you are given a command such as -5, -3, you just write it and the program will compute for you.
Okay.
Yes.
I think we'll be using a lot of
What lot of these ones down here, the negative 100 to 3 don't have negative 100 there. So where do we start from? We just start from 0?
Negative 100 to 3. It means maybe if you could be having some numbers there. So it because we don't have negative 100, it will only take numbers from 10 up to index 2.
That is from index 0 to 2.
Yeah. But for example, if I could have added a number such as between negative 100 and negative 120, which one is bigger?
Negative 100 is bigger.
Negative 100.
Negative 100. So for example, I put here negative 100, and then comma, I put negative 90. That way, comma, I put negative 70. You will see how it will give it out, and I run. You see now when you give it from negative 100 to 3, this is how now it will compute. It will compute. This is how it will compute. Negative 100 to 3. It will give me, is it the second last one? It will
Yes.
give me, yeah, it will give me negative 100, negative 90, and negative 70.
Okay.
But when I will remove it, it will just give me starting from 10 up to 30. That way, 10, 20, and 30, because negative 100 is not within this list. Now you can see for the last example, when you tell it from 4 to 100, it means it will take from, this means now it will take from this 50, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. It will take from index 4 all the way to 100. So it will give me 50, 60, 70, and 80. It won't give me 100 because 100 is not within the list.
Okay.
Yes. So that is it. So I think I'll send you this Jupyter notebook.
Thank
Do you
you.
always send all of them?
Yes.
I mean, do you put them in the group? Do you always put them there?
Yeah, I
When
normally put. I normally post it on the group. Even I'm just doing it right away.
Oh, okay.
in fact, when I try to access them, I don't know. Ruth, do you normally get to them?
No, I don't even have time. I'm still doing the Python thing. I
I
really
know.
don't
I know
have
how
it.
it is. Even
Yeah,
me,
it's a lot of things.
yeah, I know. It's a lot.
Yeah.
But I try at times to get to these things, but I mean, I don't know. I kind of struggle to get to them.
Yeah.
You post them to the group account?
But that is what he's doing.
Is it DNA North America?
I think I've posted for you a wrong one. Let me post the right one. I want you to be having the Jupyter notebook, not in HTML form. I normally post it each and every, after the lesson, Amos, I normally post them each and every time.
To the group account?
Yes.
I wish you could post individually. I don't know. Because when I struggle to open files in that group account.
And also we have got the group email. I don't know if you have access to it.
Which one is that?
We have got the group email. You know, people are suggesting that I send the material to each and everyone, but you know, the number is high. You can't be sending to each and every person individually. So we created a group email.
Python Africa, am I? Oh, so you created the group email in Python Africa?
Yes. So this is where also you can assess everything. Let me give Evolve 20.
Oh, so we should be going to Python is it BN Africa or Python Africa?
No,
Python Africa.
you know,
Okay.
last week we didn't have our classes. I could have posted for you this email. Because for you people, you don't need to come here. And the what? The password is that one. So when you just log in into that email, you will get everything there.
Where's the password? Is it the evol
at 2023?
2023. Okay.
Yes.
Write it here. Python class 47@gmail.com.
Yes.
Let me write it down because I've been struggling to get these things. I don't get them. When I go to BNN North America,
yes,
I don't get the postings.
I normally post them.
Amos, you're done with your modules?
No.
Okay.
I'm still very far. Are you done with your modules?
No, I just did 3, and I got an 85. I don't like it, so I'm still figuring out how I'll do that again.
Oh yeah, you just check those.
85, that is good.
That's very good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
sorry, you took that thing out before I wrote it.
You'll be classified as abnormal.
If you do what?
If you get everything, you'll be classified as abnormal, and also if you lose everything.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah. So you must get something in between 1 to 99.
Yeah.
Yeah.
85, that was very good.
Yeah.
That's me, one of them I got just the bare minimum, 70.
You can do them again. You have up to how many attempts? 4? I don't know.
No, I think you can attempt as many times as you want.
Oh.
Yeah. Make sure you get 100.
Not necessarily.
Yeah.
Did you sign into ChatGPT?
Yeah, I did. But it has a lot of versions, so I don't even understand which one I'm using.
Share your screen so that maybe I can see.
Let me.
Ruth is on mute. I don't know if she's aware.
Ruth, you are on mute.
Yeah, I just unmuted. So I've forgotten how to share this thing. Oh, let me go back. That is what I'm using. Are you able to see that? Are you guys able to see my screen?
No.
No? Oh my God.
I don't know, Ruth. You have not shared your screen. I don't know what might be the problem.
No, either. Okay, let me try once more.
Because there is an option down there, share screen.
Yeah, that is what I've done. You know, able
You
to
have
see
to,
it?
you need to highlight the,
After you have, yeah,
yeah,
we
you
can
need to
see.
highlight. Okay, yeah, now we are seeing it.
Yeah, so this is what I use. I really don't know whether this is the right one because all the others that I tried were never working for me. So I settled on this.
Were you using, is it an app or you signed in?
I think I tried to sign in the first time and it never worked. So I downloaded some app. You see, where I'm getting it from is I just go down here and I just type in chat and then I got that. So
No.
no,
You are
that
not,
one.
you are not doing the correct thing. Just go to your browser. Go to your browser. Which browser are you using? Chrome or?
I can use Chrome.
Yeah, just go and share your browser. I show you very fast before I go to sleep.
Okay. So I'm there.
No, I'm not seeing your browser. I'm just seeing this chat GPT that you had already shared.
Oh my God. Did they let me? You sing it now?
No. Just cancel this one, which you are seeing, so that you can share on your browser. Cancel. Go to that X up there. You cancel it. I don't know what how you are sharing your screen. After you have pressed share, okay, yeah, we can now see.
Oh.
So I should go to my browser.
Which browser are you using?
Chrome.
Google Chrome. Just write chat. Just write there chat GPT sign in. Yes. Yeah, press enter. Yeah, go there. Chat GPT login. Put your email. Then put your password. And then say login. You must use the, okay. Okay, you had not created an account. Sign up first.
Okay.
Go to sign up. Oh, no. There is sign up there, up there.
Where?
Up there.
Login or sign.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
put the account
Okay,
now.
I got it. I'm so slow in this thing.
No, you're not. You are good.
Yeah, go there and sign up first. After you have put your
Make sure you remember that long password.
Yeah, I use it most of the time.
Okay.
yeah, save it. Now, yes,
Then after that, what should I do now?
you are now in ChatGPT.
Oh, just like that?
Yes.
So all the time I want to use it, I just go to Google or I go to login, right?
Yeah, you go to login.
Oh, okay.
Then you can type in there your question and it gives you.
Like here?
Yeah. Just press enter.
Oh, okay. Sorry, you
Why
need
is
at least 50 credits. Oh, so
I don't
so
know.
this one is not free. So I need to buy this.
No, don't buy
No,
it.
no,
No,
you
don't
don't
buy it.
buy. For
It's
for
free.
for for me, I normally use there is a free version.
Ah,
That is what I'm trying to look at your option. There is a free version. There is a free version you can't buy.
Yeah. And you know that $4.99 it's not a one-time payment. It's going to be like month.
Yeah, it is going to be monthly. There is a free version. I look at mine because yours it displays differently, unlike
okay.
mine. Yeah, there is a free version.
So then I should go back and look for the free one.
Yeah, try to log in. We see how it will log in. Try to log in. Put there you are. No, it is just free. It is just free. It is. I don't know how yours it is logging in. It is coming up differently from how mine normally logs in. I want to look at something. Go to those examples. Summarize this table. Yours is coming differently. I don't know. Huh?
I added it onto my Excel, and I think I also signed up
For
on my
Even
browser.
allowing me to do anything.
yours, it is coming out differently because stop sharing. Stop sharing. I show
Okay.
you how
Okay.
mine normally comes. I wanted it to come this way. Think you can see my screen. Normally,
Yeah.
mine normally comes this way. As simple as that. Look at how mine normally come. This is how mine normally come.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so in this place, I just type a question the way Ruth had typed. What is Python? Python, that, and I just press enter and it answers. So I don't know why the roots version is not coming up clearly. That is how mine normally comes. Is your account Gmail or?
Yeah, her account is Gmail. I saw it's Gmail.
Wait, I did not use a Gmail. Oh, yeah, my account is Gmail. Sorry.
Yeah, because for mine I use Gmail and this is how it comes. I don't know why for roots is coming differently. I don't know. Huh?
I think I should go back and look for the one that has the same logo as you, as the green one, because I didn't see the one that I logged into it, that I didn't see that it had the logo.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I should go back and look for the one that has the logo as yours.
Okay.
And Mark, you
Thank
also
you.
talked
Yes.
about BAD. BAD. Did you sign up?
I signed
for
up
BAD?
using another computer.
Okay. So
Uh,
should you sign up for BAD also?
it is your pleasure. You can decide to have both.
I think I'll have both of them. I do BAD.
Share your screen, Amos. I see how yours works.
Okay. Let me share my screen here. Okay. Do you want to share the desktop? Let me see.
Just share entire screen.
Let me just go there, share desktop. Okay. So that's me.
Okay,
Do you
go
see
to
my
your
screen?
browser.
Okay. So, Okay, I have my browser already on. So let me just check out some of these things that I don't need. Okay. So I go to ChatGPT.
Yeah, just write ChatGPT login.
ChatGPT login. Okay.
Yeah, just say OpenAI. Yeah, that is how it should come. Yours, it is coming correctly. Okay, log in. If you had you already signed in?
I think I did.
Just go there, down there, say continue with Google. No, don't write anything. Just go there and write continue with Google. Delete everything there. No.
I should delete. Okay.
Go back. Use that back something. Okay, delete just everything there. Scroll downwards, say continue with Google. Press continue with Google. Yes. Yeah, that yours is coming correctly. Then put your Gmail account. It is there, Amos. I'm seeing Amos. Yeah.
I should click it. Okay.
Yeah, you just
So do you
click
have
it.
to use a Gmail account all the time we're using it?
Yeah.
Oh,
The one for Amos is coming correctly.
okay.
Then scroll downwards, Amos, please.
I need to take this one away.
Now, okay. Press where we have ChatGPT. Yes, yours, it comes exactly like mine. Now you can ask it a question. Ask it any question.
Okay. Let me just ask the same. What's Python?
Yes, press enter. Yeah, so that is what I want also Ruth to do before we finish this session.
So it means I have it already. I remember signing up, but I wasn't sure.
Yeah, you just sign it in. You had not signed up because I'm the one who has been guiding you. If you could have signed up, immediately you pressed OpenAI, it could
Yeah.
have just logged into your account.
Oh, so I need to sign up.
You have already signed up. We have signed
Okay.
with you right now.
Okay.
That is what I want Ruth to do. So stop sharing your screen so that Ruth can do the same.
Okay. Let me go back here. Why do I stop sharing it? Oh, okay. Stop share.
Ruth, share your screen so that I can show you the same. You can have ChatGPT. Okay, go backward. Just go and type again ChatGPT. ChatGPT login. Yes, there is login there. No. Yeah. Combine that login. Don't write it as a separate word. Okay, just okay. You are right. Just go and type. No, you are just right. Just come and click. No, you are right. Don't do anything. Don't do anything. You are right. Cancel that something which has popped up. You are on mute, Ruth. I don't know if you are speaking, if I can get you.
Okay, I'm asking that do I check this one where my cursor is?
Okay, yeah, just click it. But what we had already gotten was right.
Then I can just go back.
Yeah, just go back. No, right?
Go
ChatGPT
forward.
login.
Go forward.
Yeah, just go forward.
Just go forward. Hit that thing again. The forward arrow.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So the first thing where you are seeing ChatGPT OpenAI, press it.
Open.
No, that's Chinese. The second one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Now go to login.
Yeah, you got
Now
it.
after going to login, press ChatGPT. The first one, the first thing. Now you can ask it now the question which you are asking it.
Okay.
Yeah. Even I see you had asked it some question such as math lesson plans.
Yeah, I think I had a different version of it, or I think I have so many of them that I'm not able to know which one is which.
Yeah, this one, be using this one. It is the correct one.
But I haven't signed up or logged in. Or what did I do? I logged in?
It means you had already signed up. That is why you can see the question which you had asked it earlier.
Okay.
The only thing which you are doing, you are using the version which you didn't know.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah.
Yeah, you asked a very nice question.
You see this one here?
Yes. E85 visa overview.
Sisi ni wenye tulikuja kujipanga huku ndani.
That is good. Even Amos, I wanted to talk with you on the same, but I'll call you tomorrow. You'll tell me which time you'll be free.
Oh, on this one here.
Yes, on that second Ruth's question.
Wow.
Yeah. There is a day I texted you, but you never saw my message. It seems you are a very busy man.
Oh, you did? Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, so you never saw. So you'll give me a time tomorrow. I don't know which time you are normally free.
Okay, let me see. Tomorrow is Wednesday. Call me around 9 o'clock.
9 o'clock?
Yeah.
AM or PM? 9 o'clock my time or your time?
Oh, my time, that time you're sleeping. Okay. Yeah, I think 9 p.m. is good.
9 p.m. Kenyan time.
Kenyan time. Yes, your time.
Okay, thank you.
Is it 9 p.m.? Yeah, 9 p.m. is good.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
It will be around which time there? It will be around 7, 8.
Yeah, it's gonna be around 8 o'clock over here.
8 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that is it. I think now you have seen how to sign up in your ChatGPT. So you'll be asking it different questions.
Yeah.
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 Okay.
That is it. And also keep in mind, you should always be using this one. It will be easy for you. Don't use all those other versions.
So this one is totally free.
This one is totally free, but if you want now the ones which has got some advanced things, you might buy the one for $4 what, but I don't think if you need in your case, if you need to buy, for example, a person like me, it normally gives me each and every code that I want, everything that I want, and it is a free version.
But the bad thing I realized about it is that you cannot copy paste.
You can copy paste.
You can?
Yeah, you can copy paste very easily. You just highlight and copy paste.
I mean, can you copy paste something from elsewhere and bring here?
Yeah, you can copy paste very easily.
Oh.
So if you want to feed it with a new question, you go and refresh up there. Yes, refresh. It gives you blank. Then what do you want to copy paste? Go to that thing which you want to copy paste.
No, I don't have it right now. I was just trying to do it some other time and I was like, why is it not able to copy paste? I don't know. I think I was doing it wrongly then. I'll do it again.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you are in a place where now this technology comes from. You know, ChatGPT was made by Microsoft in the US.
Seems like all of them are made here, even Bard.
Yeah,
Google is also here.
Yeah, you are in a very comfortable place where technology originates.
I think those Asian tigers are ahead of us.
But you are coming, you are coming.
You're way ahead.
Yes. So that is it. I don't know if Yvonne has got any compliment so that we can call it a day. Hello, Yvonne. I think Yvonne, I don't know,
Yvonne, I
maybe.
think.
Yes.
Hello.
Hi, Yvonne, you're
Hello.
there.
Hello, Yvonne. We have finished. We have really talked. Now we are through.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Wait.